Trump says Tylenol is bad for pregnant women. So, of course, women on the left begin overdosing on the painkiller. It is Trump Derangement Syndrome on full display, and it is right now on your 10 Minutes of Truth.
You're listening to Barrett and Baxa. Real stories, raw takes, and the slow, strange death of traditional media.
Okay, we're two guys with nearly 50 years in the TV and radio business, and we are here to dissect the headlines for you. The top story for this 10 minutes is Tylenol, acetaminophen. The HHS says there's a link between autism and the use of acetaminophen products, of which Tylenol is the most popular. So, what do progressive women start doing? Posting selfie videos of themselves popping the pills while pregnant.
Yeah, it's all over the internet, Bob.
Yes.
They immediately decided, oh, you know what? Let's just, Trump is saying it, so it must be wrong. It must absolutely be wrong.
It's right now I'm in trouble with another one of my best girl siblings. This is a sister. We'll call her D, and she's actually very cool. I actually like her a lot. She's an insane liberal, and I sent her an article of pregnant women popping Tylenol, and I said, y'all are clinically insane, something like that, or you all are severely mentally ill. And she was like, I'm not pregnant and I don't advocate for taking Tylenol while pregnant. But she may not be that crazy, but she's on that path. Like, she's at the beginning of the path. Those women are much further down the path, but she is very cool. We're going to be talking about her a lot here on 10 Minutes of Truth. There's a famous meme. We were talking about this. There's a meme that shows Trump. It's a two-panel, like a picture meme. And it shows Trump in panel one, and Trump is saying, I support oxygen, or I endorse oxygen. Sweet, beautiful oxygen. And then in the second panel, it says liberals, and it shows a woman with a bag over her head. And that used to be like, oh, what a silly, crazy thing. But we're there. Like, we are there.
And if you don't believe us, do your own research. I'm not sure why you wouldn't believe us, but you can just, all you have to do is put like Trump Tylenol pregnant into any search engine, and all of a sudden these videos are going to start popping up. It's literally women showing you a little thing of Tylenol and showing you that they're pregnant, and then popping the Tylenol. And they just decided that if Trump said it, it must be a lie. And I want to play you one example of a woman who is absolutely deranged, and she just doesn't get it.
About to take Tylenol for my headache while pregnant because I don't take my medical advice from a man who doesn't have a degree in science, healthcare, or medicine. Yeah, I'll trust my doctors who have their degree.
And it's doctors that are saying it. I mean, it's Tylenol that's saying it.
Yeah, well, let me just show you a couple of these things. This one's from Mount Sinai Medical Center. You know, Mount Sinai hospitals are all over the country.
Right.
Mount Sinai study supports evidence that prenatal acetaminophen may be linked to an increased risk of autism and ADHD. This is the Yale the Yale School of Public Health. Published reports had previously raised concerns about a possible link between acetaminophen during pregnancy and an increased risk of developmental conditions such as autism spectrum disorder. Why not stop taking it? Because there's evidence of it.
Right. And first of all, I've seen all over the internet where they're like, autism is not caused by Tylenol. I don't think anyone's saying that Tylenol causes autism. They're saying that one possible cause, one possible factor could be Tylenol. So, I mean, I have no kids, so I really have no experience. And of course, I've never been pregnant, but it seems like if you're pregnant, maybe you should take very little, like take almost nothing.
And it's not like this is something that just came up in the Trump administration. I want to go back in time just a little bit. I'm going to read just a couple more headlines. This is from back in the Obama administration, 2014, Time magazine. Tylenol during pregnancy linked to a higher risk of ADHD. Reuters Health, again, 2014. prenatal acetaminophen exposure linked to ADHD. The Washington Post, 2016, acetaminophen taken during pregnancy may cause problems for offspring. And even Tylenol themselves, right at the beginning of the Trump administration, and everybody's basically seen this little post on X. The company that makes Tylenol says, we actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today.
Yeah.
So that's Tylenol.
If Tylenol says don't take Tylenol, okay, we won't take it. If Trump says don't take Tylenol, we're going to literally pop Tylenols like Tic Tacs while we're pregnant. Like, that's happening. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's
Really
a nurse on TikTok who kind of basically talks about her shifts after her shift is over. And I want to play you one of her posts that she just did recently after Trump made this announcement to sort of prove the point that you're trying to make there, Bob. And this, I've researched it and I have not been able to find anything about the case, but because of HIPAA, obviously, even if this woman has passed away or is in the ICU, we may not know it. But this is a TikTok post from a nurse who claims that she had a woman come in after just popping basically a bottle of Tylenol after Trump made this announcement.
I got a call, a very frantic call at 4 o'clock in the morning from a husband whose wife is now dying of liver failure on a ventilator in an ICU. Because she was trying to prove that Tylenol doesn't cause autism because of what Trump said on the news. Mind you, that's a Harvard study. Now, whether or not you believe the Harvard study or not is not the issue here. The issue is that she's somewhere between 23 to 25 weeks and she overdosed on Tylenol.
This shows you how ridiculous these people are. That
it really is.
Don't you Google it to see whether or not there's any sort of truth to what Trump and RFK Jr. are saying?
Right. And how would taking something now, like let's say I'm pregnant and I'm going to take something now. Wouldn't it be like years until the kid, like, I don't think you could tell your kid is autistic the day he's born, right? Am I wrong on this? Like, doesn't this take several years until the kid starts exhibiting some of the signs? So you wouldn't even be able to prove anything. Trump will be out of office before you could prove anything. And even then, if your kid is not autistic, it doesn't prove anything about anything.
And a couple of headlines, and this is how the media covered it. Here's from the AP. The AP said, the latest, Trump promotes unproven ties between Tylenol vaccines and autism without new evidence. But so basically what they're saying is there is evidence. There's evidence there of this, but he just doesn't have brand new evidence when he made the announcement today. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
And how is Trump promoting it? He's just saying, hey, this is what we found as a possibility. I wouldn't call that promoting. They make it sound like he's going on a tour around the country telling women not to take Tylenol. Like, every headline has to be played in the most negative possible way to make Trump look the worst that you can possibly make him.
You know, Mark Halperin made this last week a very, very good point on his podcast, which is called Next Up. And he's a very smart guy, and he's right in the center, in fact, left-leaning. And he says that in his opinion, and he's seen evidence that most of Trump supporters and Trump voters really aren't supporters of Trump. They're just so against the media that they are voting for Trump as a backlash against the media, because it's not that they trust Trump, it's that they do not trust the media. You're actually an example of that, Bob. You always say that you were on the left and then you saw how much the media was lying and you came to the right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't even, obviously we all know that there's the hardcore MAGA, the people that are wearing Trump gear out in public. I mean, when I wear Trump gear, I'm wearing it ironically to mess with the people that are watching. But there's the people that wear Trump gear unironically. They go to all the rallies. They're like super in love with Trump. There's those people. And then you also have that maybe 20% on the left that are just insane. And then in between are all the people in the middle, from left, pretty strong left-leaning, to pretty strong right-leaning, to right down the middle. And I thought Trump was a joke when he first came around. But then I saw the media just lying every single day. And Mark Halpern is right. I think I don't know if it's most Trump supporters, but it's many, many Trump supporters don't even like Trump, maybe hate Trump, but hate the media more. And they should, because in this country, the mainstream media is that corrupt. They are corruption personified.
Maybe at this point, the big warning should be about Trump Derangement Syndrome.
Yes, they should have that on bottles.
All right, everybody, there's your 10 minutes of truth. We'll see you next time.
Well, that's it for this episode of Barrett and Baxa. Like, subscribe, and do all that other stuff podcasts want you to do.